Hi friends, welcome back to Big Ideas for Little Learners. Today we're going to do a fun sensory activity. We're going to make Play-Doh and then we're going to use our Play-Doh to make bugs. So I have my Play-Doh recipe here, which I'm going to read, and I will also post this so that you can have the recipe yourselves and print it if you like. So the most important thing is that this is a no-cook recipe, but it still requires boiling water, so adult supervision is required. We're going to need 1 cup of flour, so I have my flour here. You're going to need half of a cup of salt, so this is my salt. You're going to need cream of tartar. I have my cream of tartar here. If you can't find that in the baking section, it's not the end of the world. I couldn't find any more at the store, I just happen to have some at home, but it is in the spice aisle. And then you're going to need some vegetable oil, and you're going to need 1 cup of boiling water, an assortment of food coloring, and if you want, some glitter. So I've got my glitter here so I can make mine a little rainbowy. Okay, so this will be available for you to print. I'm going to go ahead and start my recipe. So first we need 1 cup of flour. So I have my 1 cup measuring cup. I'm going to scoop 1 cup of flour here and put it in my mixing bowl carefully so I don't spill it everywhere. And then we're going to need half a cup of salt. So I'm going to fill this as a 1 cup measuring cup. So I'm going to fill it halfway with salt. A little bit more. Half a cup of salt. So I want to mix all my dry ingredients together first. And then we're going to need 1.5 tablespoons of cream of tartar. So this is a full tablespoon. So here's 1. And then I'm going to fill it half. So that's about half. And I have my spoon for mixing, my spatula here. So I'm going to mix all my dry ingredients, and I think I'll go ahead and mix in the glitter also. You can put as much glitter as you want, or if you don't have any glitter, you don't have to use glitter. So we'll mix in some glitter here. Oh, I see a huge chunky glitter. Let's get that guy out of there. Don't think we need this big sequin here. So, oh, I dropped it back in. So we're going to stir that glitter in. Okay, so now we've got all of our dry ingredients and our glitter mixed together. Now we can add the wet ingredients. So we need 1 tablespoon of oil. So I've got my tablespoon here. We're going to mix 1 tablespoon of oil in and mix that around. And then we'll add the boiling water. A grown-up needs to do the boiling water and the mixing after you add the boiling water because it's very hot and it will burn you. So now I'm going to measure out my boiling water. I used my electric kettle so that I could boil it and be able to pour it. So I'm going to measure 1 cup of boiling water. You can see it's very steamy because it's so hot. This is only for grown-ups. And I'm going to pour it in very carefully. Okay, and we'll mix this up. And then, oh, look at that, it's turning into goo. Oh, I love the glitter. It's so sparkly. It's like rainbow. Okay, so the grown-ups need to do this part because it's very hot. And then once you've mixed it up, you're going to want to let it cool for 15 or 20 minutes because you won't want to touch it while it's really hot. So I will finish mixing it and I'll be back in a few minutes to show you the next step. Okay, we're back and we have our finished dough here. I made a second batch of dough. The first batch was really, really gooey, so I needed to add more salt and more flour. So you might want to pour the water in slower and only add a little bit of the water at a time to make sure that it doesn't get too gooey. But if it does get too gooey, you can always add more flour and more salt. So it works out okay. And I added a second batch, so I have quite a lot of Play-Doh here because I'm going to mix in the color now. So I'm going to divide it up. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 colors here, and I'm going to make 1 more by mixing 2 of them. So I'm going to divide it up into 7 piles. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Let's see, this one's a little bit big and this one's a little small, so I'll share a little bit over here. Okay, so now I have 7 piles for my 7 colors. I'm going to show you how to mix the first color. I'm going to start with pink. So I have my bowl here because I don't want to get food coloring all over myself or the kitchen. So I'm going to put one at a time in the bowl, and I'm going to add about 10 drops of food coloring so that it's really bright. And I think I'm going to put my finger in and make a little dent in the middle. See how I made a little dent in the middle with my finger? And that way it'll hold the color. So help me count 10 drops. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Now this part's going to be a little bit messy, so you might want to use a spoon because the food coloring will get on your fingers and it can stain your clothes, so you're going to want to be really careful. So if you don't want it to get on you, then you should probably use a spoon for mixing. I don't mind, so I'm going to mix up my color here. And as you mix it, you can see my hand starting to change color. The color is going to mix into the dough. So I'm mixing it up, spreading it around. And oh, it's kind of marbly, that's pretty. And keep mixing until all the color is mixed in and it's the shade that you like. So here is my first one. I've got a nice pink dough here with my rainbow glitter in it. Okay, so I'm going to mix up the other colors and then you'll get to see all of my 7 finished colors. Here's red. All right, and there is my red. You can see my hands are changing colors. Now we're going to make the orange, and for orange we need to mix 2 colors. Do you remember what 2 colors we mixed together to make orange? One of them is red, and the other one is yellow. So we're going to mix some drops of red and some drops of yellow. There's the red, and we'll do some of the yellow. Even though it looks red, it comes out yellow in the Play-Doh. And we'll mix this up. All right, I have mixed up my orange Play-Doh, the red and the yellow together, made a really bright orange color. I like that. That looks great. And the next one we're gonna mix is yellow. So I'm gonna take another batch of dough, put a little divot in, and I'm gonna put a load of yellow. I want it to be really bright, so I'm gonna put lots, squeezing it out a lot. Okay, I'm gonna mix it up now. All right, I think my yellow is nice and bright. We are ready to mix the next color. What comes next in the rainbow? Red, orange, yellow. It's green. Okay, so now we are on to green. So I'm gonna put my little thumbprint in the middle there. Now with the green, blue, and purple, a little goes a long way. The color comes out a lot darker than you think it will, so you don't need quite as much. So I think I'm only gonna do 6 drops. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I think that'll do it. Okay, now I'm gonna mix this one up. All right, I think that's good for my green, and we'll move on to the next color. What's the next color in the rainbow? Blue, of course, my favorite color. All right, here we go. We're gonna do 6 drops of blue again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And I'm gonna mix it up. All right, I think this blue is just right. We are on to our last color. That will be purple. Same with green and blue, we're only gonna add 6 drops of purple. Actually, this time I think I'll put 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 drops. Now I'm going to mix it up. All right, friends, I think this purple is looking good. And my hands are looking pretty glittery and colorful from all of the food coloring. All right, I am going to get the supplies to build our bugs. I'll see you back in just a moment. All right, friends, now that all our Play-Doh is made, we're ready to start making bugs. So I have some things that I had around the house. You can use whatever you have around the house, maybe even some of your Play-Doh tools. I got some of my glass beads, some toothpicks, and some pipe cleaners. So let's see if you can remember. Bugs. How many legs do most bugs have? Think. How many legs do they have? Do they have 4 legs? Like a dog or a cat? No. Do they have 2 legs like us or a bird? Or do they have 6 legs? Yes. Most bugs have 6 legs. So I'm going to make a bug, and I think I'll use the toothpicks for their 6 legs. And I think I'll use these pipe cleaners for their antennae, and maybe I'll use some of these glass beads for decoration or for their eyes. So I think I'll start with a yellow head, and I'm going to roll it in my hands like this to make a ball. A yellow head. Then the middle of their body is called their thorax. I think I'll make a pink thorax. I'm going to take a little bit more, and I'm going to roll it in a ball, and then I'm going to put it down and kind of roll it back and forth to make it kind of a long body. So there's the middle. I'm going to smush them together a little bit. And then the third part of their body is called their abdomen. So I think on this bug I'll make a green abdomen. So I'm going to take about half the green, make it a big green abdomen. For that one, I'm going to roll it in a ball and put it on there and then kind of smush it down a little bit. All right, so I have my head, my thorax, and my abdomen. I'm going to give it some antennae. Here's one black antennae. And how about an orange one on this side? Make this guy really colorful. Oh, that looks great. And then how many legs did we decide? 6 legs. I'm going to use toothpicks for legs. So I'm going to put 1, 2, 3 legs on this side, and 1, 2, 3 legs on that side. So I made my first bug. Kind of reminds me of an ant. So I'm going to set this guy aside. And then what about caterpillars? They look really different and they have a lot of legs. So I think this time I'll use some purple. And I'm going to take my big ball of purple and I'm going to roll it back and forth to make it long like a hot dog. And I'm just rolling it while I push it. Now that I've got it about hot dog shape, I'm going to roll it with both hands and kind of pull it apart as I do it. Roll, push, and pull your hands apart. All right, that looks pretty good for the body of my caterpillar. I think it needs a head though. I'm going to use orange to make my caterpillar's head. So I'm going to squish it up, roll it around in my hands to make a ball. Put that guy right on top, just like that. So there's my caterpillar's body and my caterpillar's head. Now it needs some decoration, so I'm going to turn it sideways so you can see, and I'm going to put some beads on it for decoration. Blue one, a yellow one, a pink one, and a black one. Oh, that looks pretty nice. And then I've got some more toothpicks here, so I'll add some toothpicks for legs. There's 6 legs. But I know caterpillars have more than 6, so I think I'll use a couple of my pipe cleaners for some more legs. I'll give it some bigger legs on the back side here with my yellow. And then he needs some antennae, so I think I'll give this guy some blue antennae. And I have a couple more pipe cleaners. I think I'll stick them in for a couple extra legs. One right there. One right there. All right, friends, so you can keep making your bugs, and I hope you'll post pictures and videos so we can see how yours turn out. I hope you had fun with our Play-Doh experience today. Bye, everybody.